So maybe you make videos for Instagram, or maybe you make wedding films, or maybe you make commercials or videos that promote businesses, anything of that sort. If you work in Premiere, this video will help speed up your workflow exponentially. You'll work so much faster. Most videos will show you all the best keyboard shortcuts to learn, all the ones that are already in Premiere. The issue with those is that not all the keyboard shortcuts are in the best place to be used. Whenever I started editing, I learned all the shortcuts, and I just felt like a pianist that was moving back and forth between my keyboard and my mouse, and just remembering all these weird yoga poses in order to hit all the actions I needed to do. And so I realized I needed to move my keyboard shortcuts in a place where I don't have to do that anymore. My left hand stays generally 90% in the same area all day, and my right hand stays on my mouse 90%. And so I'm gonna show you guys how I facilitate doing that. So most people navigate Premiere Pro, they'll hold Alt, they'll scroll their mouse, and then they'll move, and then they'll scroll again. And then you'll watch a video about keyboard shortcuts, and they'll say, okay, well actually plus and minus up here, check out where my hand is, up here, move it from right here, travel all the way over here. Plus and minus is to zoom in and to zoom out. Premiere already sets it like that. They'll have another keyboard shortcut, which is move to next edit point and previous edit point. That's right here. That's already set to up and down. The issue about this though, is that you're gonna be moving your hands up here, down here, and then you're gonna move it back to wherever else that your hand needs to be, and you're moving so many times throughout this keyboard. How I have it is actually, I'll have Z as zoom in, not the magnifier glass zoom in tool, and shift zoom to zoom out. So how we do that is the very most important keyboard shortcut, Control Alt K. Control Alt K is the keyboard shortcut. It's the best keyboard shortcut there is, because you can just make more keyboard shortcuts out of this keyboard shortcut. So you just type in here, search field, zoom, and you can see here, zoom in, zoom out. Click on this side right here. You probably already have it as equals and minus. Just click over here and then click Z, Shift Z. And now, whenever you go in, zoom out, move the playhead, zoom in, zoom out. You can do that so fast. Our shortcut, move to next edit point and previous edit point. Instead of moving all the way over here, let's just take these two and move them right here. So I have A and S set as that right now. And what that is an edit point is basically the beginning of a clip or the end of a clip. It's just a fancy word of saying whatever that is. So if they're in the same place, that's just one edit point. If there's two of them, then there's a gap there and there's two edit points. So that's what that is. Just type in go to edit. Now we can see go to next edit point here, which is down. Just set that as S, and then we can go to previous edit point and set that as A. S, right, A, left, just like on your keyboard. All right, so now that we have that, we can basically zoom out, zoom in, move right, move left. And if you notice right here, the edit points are in line with whatever video track is selected. So if video track 1 is selected, you will only be moving back and forth on the edit points on video track 1. Same thing with video track 2. If video track 2 is selected, you'll only be moving back and forth between video track 2. If both of them are selected, then Premiere will look at all the video tracks. And it's an easy way to move that back and forth. Just shift click on the video tracks and it will deselect or select all video tracks. Same thing with audio tracks. Create edit point. This is probably the most used one. And the issue I have with this is typically when people show you create edit on a tutorial, it'll be Control K. You know, you could take out your razor tool, click over here, you find your razor, do that, click, make another cut, or you hit the C key for cut, and then your razor, you hit the V key for whatever, you get back to it, and then you hit the C key for the razor tool again. That's a lot of work. So everyone got a little bit smarter and they said Control K for cut. The only issue I have with that is your right hand has to travel all the way over here to the K. So I put my hand over here. Look, my thumb naturally falls on this Alt key. And then my middle finger is already at this Q key. So now, Alt Q, I can just cut. Easy. Look at that. It's so much faster than moving your hand over to have like a two-handed shortcut. Honestly, if you're using two hands to do like this shortcut, it's not necessarily like a shortcut, is it? You need shortcuts for your shortcuts, you know what I'm saying? Alt Q for cut. So it's actually add edit point to all tracks. So let's just type in add edit point, and you can either have add edit point or add edit point to all tracks. So I actually have add edit as Alt Shift Q. It's a little bit more complicated because I use it a little bit more less. If you have your playhead selecting the clips in front of you, so just go to sequence, selection follows playhead. As long as you have that on, nothing happens if you don't have it selected. You don't have any of these clips being selected. Or you can go here and then have that turned on. And now, look, since video track 1 and 2 are selected, when you move the playhead above 1 or 2, it'll select both. The cool thing is, whenever it's just 1, it won't select the one above. So look at this. Now you can use Alt-Shift-Q and cut just the clip on the bottom, or you can use Alt-Q and cut all of them. Q and W. Q and W are actually already pre-made inside Premiere. So what they are is, if you go over here, it's ripple, trim, previous, edit to playhead. That's the mouth pull. We already learned how to make an edit point, Alt Q, right? And then we hit backspace for delete, and then we hit backspace again, and it deletes that. Great. Or you could just hit Q, and it does basically all those edits in one move. Same thing over here. You can either move this back right here, and then drag everything back over here, or you can just hit delete, or even better, just like, let's say this is the point we want to do that, hit Q. If your playhead is right here and you're trying to get this clip to grow over there, just click on this clip and hit E. It's actually already inside here, pre-programmed as extend selected edit to playhead. And so what that means is, if your playhead is right here and you click on the end of this, hit E, bam. Now we're right there. Hit E. Or you could grow it out. Hit E. Same thing with moving backwards. Hit E, bam. There are certain things like, Alt and Control in order to, let's say, ripple things. So instead of using B to ripple, we can actually, right here, we can ripple everything. So if you hold Control, drag with the yellow bracket, it'll push everything out. Same thing, Control bracket, bring it back in. It'll pull everything back in, ripple everything this way. Same thing with this. If you use Control, click, drag, and drag it out, you'll get more space on this side and push everything that way. If you're in the middle and you hold Control, now you get this. Now you can use this point to choose where you want these two edits to cut at. If you go right there, you see we've given a little bit more on the green side, given a little bit more on the blue side. Now I want to talk about the right hand. I'm sorry guys, but this one might not be applicable for everyone. I use a Logitech MX3 as a mouse, and I do that for a specific reason. This mouse is extremely powerful, and everyone loves this mouse. People rave about this mouse because it has three things actually that I love. And it's this button, and this button. This is a button right here. This button, the forward button, is typically what you use in order to redo like going backwards on tabs. But I've programmed it to be the enter button. This is enter, and this button is backspace. You're more than likely gonna hit backspace or enter, whatever it is while you're editing. So like while we're editing, let's say we have a bunch of gaps here. What you would typically do is take your right hand, you would click here, either 1, ripple delete, 2, click here, hit backspace. Look at this travel, this hand travel. Right hand to backspace to get rid of that. Let's just get rid of that entire thing. But instead of moving your hand, just backspace right there on your thumb. Click, backspace. Click, backspace. Click, backspace. And instead of deleting this clip with backspace, backspace right here, you can Alt, leave your hand where it is, bam, backspace. Look at that. I could do this all day, so many times. And now I just saved myself moving back and forth 8 times to backspace. That's 8 times. You multiply that by a couple hundred times a day. Every single day, you're doing that 1,000 times, 1,000 actuations moving back and forth. It's gonna save you so much time and energy. Let's say we're gonna add 2 decibels of gain, and then you hit enter. You could do that, or you could hit like 13 or 1, 2, enter right here on your mouse. You can do all of that just like this. Bam, done. You finish it before your hand even gets back to its original position. 3 more editing shortcuts for you guys. This will be the last. So typically, when you're starting a project, you'll go through like a culling process. And that typically consists of moving your hand, watch this, to I and O from your program panel, and moving inside your source monitor. So your source monitor, you will hit I, O. Some people will take this, drag it onto their timeline. Some people will drag just this icon to their timeline, which is just the video, or they'll drag just the audio to their timeline. Or some people will actually know the other keyboard shortcut for this, which is period, which is overwrite, or Q, which is insert. The difference between the two is overwrite will get rid of anything that it is on top of. And Q, comma, will push everything back. It'll ripple everything back. You have to make this travel here to here. And so instead of that, let's move everything back to our safe area right here. So what I've done is instead of I and O, I've moved I and O to 1 and 2. 1, 2 is in and out point. Look where my thumb is right now. My thumb is just naturally around this D. So you know what? I'm just gonna set the D as insert. Bam. Easy as that. This will determine where you're inserting. So let's say you select video 2 as that now. So you can select this, I, 1, 2, D. Look at my hand. My hand is not moved. I can make another selection. I really like this shot. This shot right here, 1, 2, D. And let's say I really like this shot of the chandelier, 1, 2, D. This, 1, 2, D. 1, 2, D. Now, you can see how fast it is, where my left hand hasn't moved whatsoever. You can duplicate, Alt, drag, or you can use Control, drag, and ripple it out. All these shortcuts will make you an extremely fast editor. It helps me in my culling process. It helps me in my cutting process. It helps me think so much faster. It just helps me edit just as fast as I think. If you like this video, if this video has helped you at all, if this has made you change the way you think about your keyboard shortcuts, if you learn anything from this video, go ahead, like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you like learning how to be more organized in Premiere Pro, working faster in Premiere Pro, speeding up your Premiere workflow, if any of that sounds appealing to you, like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell, because I'm making more videos like this in order to help you guys become more organized and edit faster. Thank you guys so much. If you have anything that really resonated with you, if there's anything you really liked or anything you want to learn about, go ahead and leave that in the comment section. I'll see you guys in the next one.